Hey, and welcome to the Hopcast.
Thanks for coming back, everybody.
I'm Brad Chmielewski.
My name is Ken Hunnemeder.
And special guest, special location. That's great.
We're just crushing it today.
Always crushing it. Rick Wilt style.
So we're here at Penrose with Tom and Eric. So thank you guys for having us.
Happy to have you guys here.
It's great. It's been, almost a year, right?
Just about. Maybe a little more.
Over a year.
Over a year.
Over a year since we did this last.
And now we're here, pouring beer, making beer.
Yeah, space is open. Taproom is open.
Yep.
And we're out in Geneva, Illinois. So it's, this turned out really, really, really great. This is the first time I've been here where it's actually been open and functional. You guys are making beer. You guys are also selling beer. So it's pretty cool to see it all kind of come to fruition. It's got to be a good feeling for you guys too.
For sure. I think this has been a long year, to say the least. It's nice to finally be here sitting in our brew house drinking beer that you made.
Yeah, you guys hate each other yet?
No, well, honestly, I gotta be. It's been a long build out, and I think Tom is probably, if he doesn't say it, I'll just say it. He's very happy that I spend a lot of my time outside of the brewery now, going to retail accounts, working with our wholesaler. So now he's got less time with me, which is a good thing. It helps us appreciate each other more.
Exactly.
And so today, right now, we're drinking the Proto, right? This kind of, is this the flagship beer or like one of the
I don't like that word.
Staples, I guess a staple?
Call it a requisite.
A requisite beer?
Well, we have a few that we like to call requisites, simply as beers that we like to make all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you could probably call that a flagship. You could probably call that, year-round, whatever you want to call it. We like this one for its style, for its uniqueness. There's not a lot of people doing it that way. And it's a beer I think people will get behind. So as I go out to the market and I taste beer with people for the first time, they tend to respond very well to a 4% clean beer that has a lot of flavor and a lot of complexity and nuance. They think that that's refreshing and good to see coming from a small craft brewer. You don't usually see that from guys like us.
Yeah, and it's a Belgian single. I don't know that we mentioned that yet. And you're right, there's not too many people making beers like this. One that comes to mind would be New Glarus whenever they make Stone Soup. But that's not even, they don't even do that all the time nowadays.
And that's a little higher alcohol too. It's, I think, around 5-ish.
More around 5.
Something like that, yeah. Buckle Downs did a single a couple times. But other than that, you aren't seeing a ton of widely available singles all the time. And that's something we wanted to kind of hang our hat on. Say, listen, here's our first step into the market. Here's our first beer going out. We want you to be able to understand that we're all about brewing really quality, very clean beer. And then we can kind of extrapolate on those flavors later.
And now that you mentioned that, we're at the tap room today. You have a barrel fermented version of this beer. So you're doing a lot of smaller versions of some of the beers that are coming out of the 40 barrel brew house that it's behind us. You've got a lot of 3 barrel fermenters, 1 barrel fermenters where you can take that beer and kind of manipulate it and even do some barrel stuff as well. Yeah,
I think that's very important for us to always try different things with our beers, kind of extrapolate on some of the flavors that you get out of them. The reason for a barrel fermented Proto isn't to get all oak. That's not what we're going for. We want subtle flavors coming from the oak that can kind of lead the people who are drinking our beer to something down the road. We did all Brett 100% Brettanomyces primary fermentation beer a few weeks back. We did the wood fermented Proto. Now we've got a beer with a lot of acidulated malt coming up. So we're kind of teeing up the next things that we're going to do, the next beers, the next kind of wild ales that incorporate all of these flavors. So it's kind of a series that we're doing that we kind of tiptoe there, and then now you know what you're getting in that glass of beer.
And are you kind of using that to see what's going to come next out of the full scale system that you're using?
Yeah, we've played with a lot of different recipes so far. We've done, probably over 25, 30 different beers on our small batch system that are only available in the tap room. Everything from Patina, our beer de garde, to our raspberry double, to buckwheat saisons on now. Just to kind of test out recipes, keep things new, keep things interesting, have a reason for people to keep coming back here.
Yeah, and Taproom's been open for what, like a month or so?
Yep, 6 weeks.
6 weeks?
6 weeks.
And you've already made 20 different beers.
Tom keeps himself real busy in
Yeah.
that
There
small
was
batch system.
almost a line when we walked in to get here. People were like waiting, checking their watches, waiting for the doors to open. And it's Sunday.
Thanks for letting us in early, by the way.
I'm happy to do that for you guys. Anything for you guys.
What, you're going to put us at the back of the line.
The other thing that I want to mention, kind of to add to what Tom was saying about why we do these individual note beers that are kind of like the single elements that make up a complex, a layered wild ale. We're doing this because we're in Geneva too. I mean, we have an audience that is not as well versed and hasn't spent as much time drinking some of these beers. So when we introduce them one element at a time, it's also accompanied with a little staff education, so our team is prepared to have those conversations about why a Brett beer doesn't necessarily mean sour or tart, what it means to be barrel fermented versus barrel aged. And again, barrel fermented doesn't mean it's going to be sour. It doesn't mean it's going to be tart. We're working on these projects so that we can kind of build an audience that is more aware and more ready. And I think each step that we take, we see a lot of light bulbs. We see a lot of people having that first experience with this new thing in their beer, and they're like, wow, what's next? And then they come back. And that's kind of the idea of expanding the audience. This is why we do those things.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like you're putting a large emphasis on education, not only just the beers that you brew, but you said it yourself, the staff, you walk in, they're talking to everybody, they know about the beer.
Oh, yeah.
So that's really good to see, especially out in the suburbs, you know?
Yeah. Our staff is we'll all be server certified Cicerones, beer server certified Cicerones within the next 2 weeks. And then we have a few of them that are already getting their notes together to start studying for the actual Cicerone certification exam, which is pretty phenomenal because we hire for culture. We want people in this room that love beer, that want to go out to beer festivals, that want to go out and taste beer and go to great bars and restaurants that serve great beer. And we can't teach that. You know, we can't teach you to want that, but we can teach you all the other little things. So, you know, Tom really helped me get through the Cicerone exam a few years back. And as we start to move into that time when these folks that we work with are interested in that, you know, we're going to be working to help them along the way. Because if the more knowledgeable they are, the better off the conversations are going to be when they have new people coming in to learn more about our beers and beer in general. So it's good. We're investing in ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Good to see, yeah. And yeah, the investing in the self, the space is great. This is huge. You have a lot of room here to add more tanks. As we saw, there's one here. You said there's a couple more on the way.
Yeah, we've got 3 more 40 barrels coming online within the next couple months. Just added 2 more 3 barrels, 2 more 1 barrels. And we didn't want to paint ourselves into a corner as we built this place. You know, we wanted to have a separate area for brew house and grain handling, have a separate area for fermenters and brights, and have floor space there that we can just keep on adding on. And then have packaging kind of play off of that. So there's a lot of thought that went into how we structured this building. I kind of saw it first when I walked in here. Eric and I looked at a lot of buildings, and I was the first one to say, this is the right building for us. This will do well, because I saw process flow.
He had to convince me.
Okay.
Yeah. I was not on board at first, but when he designed it and set it up, he's like, yeah, this is a great space for a brewery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I think as an engineer, you know, so I don't want to have my brew house here, my fermenters there, my packaging line there, and kind of go back and forth. I don't want to do that. That's more work for me. But I liked how we could start on one end of the building, work our way to the other end, and then I thought it was really important for us to have our barrel aging room right next to the tap room. So rather than looking into our brew house and seeing me run around all the time, nobody wants to do that. You get to see right into the barrel room and have all the wood barrels right there with a big window that shows you right into there. So that kind of shows how much of an importance we're putting on that room. It kind of puts that as our foot forward to the world. And it was also nice for us because we have a separate HVAC system up there. So separate heating ventilation system. So we can keep it at a constant temperature, and it's also away from our fermenters. So these are all things we kind of thought about as we're building it
like
out.
from a workflow process, it's like grain in, into the brew house, cellar, you've got some barrel aging, and then straight to the glass.
Yep.
Out of the tap. So it's a cool setup that you got here.
And you mentioned packaging. Yeah, we got to see some labels. You're going to be packaging soon, right? Everyone can now find beers on tap around Chicago. But
Yeah, draft beer for the start. I mean, that's a good entry point for, I think, most small brewers. Actually, I think a lot of small brewers go in like bombers first, and they push more of that out to retail, which I find to be interesting because it's hard to build awareness like that. You know,
Sure.
you put a beer on draft at a bar and you get a lot of trial. Then you get people that are going to go look for it somewhere else. And so we kind of follow that model, but we also want to follow it up quickly with, let's get beer into off-premise places like liquor stores that people can go pick up, and then now they have a 4-pack of our Proto or P2 that they can take home and drink too. So, yep, that's
And that becoming
end of.
Coming here soon.
We don't do well with dates. Let's
Yeah.
just not give a date.
Yeah. Remember last time we talked was a year ago?
This year sometime we'll see.
Yeah. We're running some trials
We're gonna
here.
make bottles probably.
Yeah, probably. We're running some trials here soon. So trials start in a couple of weeks. Try to fire everything up, get our bottling line running. All of our equipment's in.
Yeah.
The labels are in. The bottles are coming in. So it's just a matter of doing it.
Sure.
So
when are you gonna get some help back here?
I already have Hobbs. Isn't that enough? You know, Hobbs is washing kegs. He was here till 1:30 on Friday night.
He double books. He's
Yeah.
a hob jobber.
That's a new term, by the way.
That was my own fault.
Yeah.
I rolled in a little late the following morning after being out really late the night before, and Tom's like, "You cleaning those kegs, right?" I'm like, "All of them?" So I stayed here quite late. But yeah, man, he needs help back here.
Yeah,
this is a
we're-
big brewery to be handling one for just one guy.
Yeah, we did a lot of things here to help alleviate some of that pressure on me. You know, our control board, the grain handling system that we have, these were all done so that it's easier for me to run it. However, with how we're projecting, going into bottles, needing to keep up with all the taproom beers, we're bringing on another brewer here, hopefully end of May, early June-ish.
Dates again.
Yeah, once again, there are a lot of issues now these days. We try not to put a firm date on anything. So that's what we're looking for.
Well, that's good. I mean, the response has been great. You guys, I mean, opened the taproom doors and people drank all your beer. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Taproom's nice. I think that's one of those things. If I could give one piece of advice for every person thinking about opening a brewery, put a taproom in your brewery. Mm-hmm. Put a taproom in your brewery because people will come drink your beer on site, and it's a constant source of revenue. And I know that's kind of like a really sensitive topic in our industry is talking about money. But you know what? You know what people want when you want ingredients? They want money. You know? So when you want to go make more beer, people want to get paid for that. And they'll give you terms from time to time, but for the most part, if you're young, they want you to pay before they send you anything too. So a taproom is a constant source of revenue, which means Tom can order ingredients whenever he wants. Tom can order more barrels when he wants. Mm-hmm. Tom can hire people when he needs to. I mean, that's important, and I think that if this is going to work, we needed that to be successful, and that has been above and beyond what we had predicted. So that's been really nice.
and it's 100% control over your beer.
Oh, for sure,
Board,
dude.
which is
For sure.
something that is just so valuable these days. You know.
Yep.
And you have direct communication with the people who are drinking your beer. Mm-hmm. If they like one of the test batches you're doing, you're hearing that directly from their mouth. So you don't have to hear it through 3 other people. If they don't like it, if you're putting something bad out there, they'll tell you right away, and you can say, "Oh, okay, I need to pull that
Before
off."
it's on all these accounts.
Yeah.
Like, everyone doesn't like this beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So Chicago Craft Beer Week coming up pretty soon.
Yes.
What are you guys doing?
We have a little bit of a full schedule, and I kind of blame myself for that. So would you like me to just rattle it all off, or what?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right.
Get some beer.
So we'll start
That might
with
be empty.
Thursday. We're doing beer under glass. We're pouring alongside a lot of our friends over there. Saturday morning, that following Saturday morning, the Ale to the Burbs guys, Jeremy Teal and Eric Woodruff and Kevin Bastian, are going to be bringing a bus tour through here, so people will be able to come through on a tour for the first time. And then Monday we'll be up in Libertyville at the Firkin with our friends from
Nice.
Revolution and Off Color. Got some tasty treats that'll be on up there, so some limited release stuff. Tuesday we're with you fine gents and the lovely Maeve, who is behind the camera right now. Can we say that?
Sure.
Doing a live Hopcast, which is going to be more audience participation based with some fun beers from us and Perennial. And then Wednesday we'll be at the Beer Temple with Perennial, Off Color, and us. And then Thursday, double booked. We have a Mash
No
Tun
shit.
Journal event here. Yep, did that. Mash Tun folks are going to be here hosting an event with guided tasting and tour with Brewmaster Tom. And then we're also going to be at a Trencherman dinner with Solemn Oath and Perennial. And then Friday night we'll be doing a dinner at Bangers with Solemn Oath and Perennial, kind of a series with Bangers and Trencherman. And then Saturday, just pour beer all day at the West Loop Craft Beer Fest. And then Sunday we might take a nap.
Yeah.
That is a fucking full schedule. Holy
I think that's some breaking news right there, too.
Yeah, this will be the first. Well, we're going to post it up online, give everybody a chance to get their tickets for the stuff to stick it in. But yeah, this is just finally getting details situated this week, pushing this news out to everybody this week.
Yeah, so this will be exciting from our aspect of the whole thing. Sitting down with you guys and Perennial over at the Hopleaf. You guys will have the opportunity to send some questions in if you want to hear anything that needs to be answered from Tom, Eric, or Phil. Is Corey coming up?
Corey's not. Corey actually decided to book a trip to Belgium with his lovely wife Karen.
What a jerk.
I know. He just said, "Screw Chicago Craft Beer Week. I'm going to Belgium." Thanks, Corey King.
But either way, so come to a great place in Chicago, drink some beer, hang out with all of us. It'll be a lot of fun.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. And then, and definitely come out to the tap room here. It's not that far. It's far, but not that far.
We actually got here pretty quick.
Yeah.
It was like an hour.
Well, a lot of folks from the city have been taking the train out. We're about 2/3 of a mile from the metro stop right downtown Geneva. It's an awesome little walk through town to get here. There's passing a lot of bars and restaurants along the way, so don't allow yourself to get tired and thirsty without getting here. You can stop and drink some more beer. But then, we're starting actual public tours. We're going to release dates on those here shortly, but those will be end of May. We'll start doing regular public tours through the space.
Oh, awesome.
So $10 tour, you get the beer, you get the tour, and you keep your glass. So
Cool. Oh, beer.
look at this,
Thank
right
you.
in time
Wow.
for the end. Thanks, Suze. Don't worry, no seal pups were killed in the making of that coat.
I shot this on the way over here.
And then if you're taking the train, you can grab a growler.
Yeah, and drink it on the way home.
That's awesome.
Welcome. That's all. That's a good idea, man. I like it.
Yeah, so the great space, fantastic beers, especially for startup brewery, having no quality issues whatsoever from all the beers that I've drank, and that's a number one. It's tough these days when there's so many breweries opening up and you're scared to try new breweries, and you guys aren't one of them. So it's cheers to you,
Hey, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
and thanks for having us, man.
Thank
Thank you guys
Thanks for watching.
watching Hopcast.